The Defensive Player of the Year award list is filled with some of the best stoppers we've ever seen in the NBA. And strangely enough, it's almost always a big man despite guards dominating the NBA's scoring landscape. This year is no different as all the usual suspects are in the discussion, but there's one guy who's been making more plays than any of those guys. Oftentimes, the kinds that don't show up in the box score. So it's time to call attention to the one the Lakers let get away, Alex the GOAT Caruso. First off, Steph No has been calling attention to Caruso's locking down this season, so make sure you give him a follow. Now, it's rare that the superstars of the league can be embarrassed by a defender, but Caruso is making a habit of it. And if you see a guy wave off the screen to go right at him in isolation, I'll probably just feel sorry for the offensive player, since he clearly doesn't know how well Caruso moves his feet, how physical he is, and how difficult it is to score on him. Will Barton found out the hard way in the third quarter of this game, as Caruso has been proving to us that the old school don't reach approach is nonsense. He reaches while he's sliding to stay in front, doesn't allow himself to be screened, and when Barton decides he's going to take this guy, Caruso perfectly reads the crossover and pokes it away into an embarrassing steal. In case Trey Burke didn't know, now he knows. And watch how he causes havoc all over the place. He shoots the gap on the pin down to blow up the handoff, gambles on the reach-in on Aaron Gordon, which forces Gordon to turn his back so he doesn't see Caruso's man open for a second under the hoop. And on the recovery closeout, while this looks like a traditional defensive slide, notice how he rotates his hips towards the baseline, but is then immediately looking to knock the dribble away. He's relentless in his pursuit, and Morris has to put his head down in shame. Running dribble handoffs is one of the most common actions teams run these days, and most defenders are just willing to let it happen and hope to contain. Not Caruso. Every chance he gets, he's trying to not only shoot between the offensive players, but at the same time trying to deflect the pass. This forces the receiver to reach for the ball and turn his back, limiting the threat of the DHO. And Caruso stays absolutely glued to the driver, absorbs contact while staying square to the man, which leads directly to this turnover. Here, he uses the sliding gallop with small steps to keep connected with his man, again aggressively reaching in to disrupt the pass, which he deflects between Jaylen Brown's legs into the steal. Watch him bouncing on his toes, able to see ball and man, and this time the careless handoff is easily stolen and leads to a fast break, something that happens more often with Caruso causing so many turnovers. In fact, he is tied for the league in total steals, despite playing a lot less minutes than anyone else in the top 10. While I really like Javonte Green, it's probably time to start Caruso alongside the big guns and let him get over 30 minutes a game. Perhaps if he tries using Manscaped's new body wash, Coach Billy Donovan will be swayed by how good he smells and insert him into the lineup. Manscaped has a huge Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale, so you've got to check out everything they have to offer. I love everything in their performance package, and when your balls are fresh, you play defense a lot better, right? So click on my link in the description below and make me look and smell good, and you will too. Get your grooming right and everything else will fall into place, just like Caruso does whenever the other team possesses the ball. He gets through this screen with defensive slides, allowing his teammates to stay home and not give up any openings. Now the offense has to try and run something with under 10 seconds left on the clock, and you can see how aware he is of the ball despite having his back turned to it as he anticipates the pass on the switch, triggering another fast break. I'll probably keep saying relentless to describe him because it's not just getting around the screens, it's the pursuit afterwards that makes him special. First off, check how he plants the high foot right above the screener's high foot while keeping his chest open to the ball. This makes him small to the screener and hard to take out. Now he's turning and running, glued to the hip, just waiting for the driver to make his move, then expertly deflects it into a steal. Here's an attempt to deflect the handoff that leaves him a couple of steps behind, but also change the route of the receiver. Here he comes fast, getting almost behind him so the screener can't put a body on him and just smothering the pass back. He switches onto the ball handler but doesn't sit back and let him do his dance. He's aggressively reaching, then not letting himself be screened before pursuing the action and easily stealing the pocket pass to the roll man. Again, he steps up to the ball as the drag screen materializes, stays attached, and is also ready to instantly get his hands up as he jumps into the air to deflect another steal. What makes him particularly troublesome to offenses is his weak side activity to steal passes. He sees Paul George cutting back door and Batum staring a hole at him and knows he can risk stepping over to get the ball because his man is a long skip pass away. Against Luka in the pick and roll, it's Caruso's job to tag the roll man. Watch how he lures Luka into thinking he's bumping all the way down into the paint, but instead baits him into throwing the skip and just steals it to trigger another fast break. I like this one, luring the ball handler into thinking there's a little pass here, but Caruso hovers right outside the passing lane to knock it away into a turnover. The pocket pass is another popular action that most point guards throw without even thinking about it. But Caruso's pursuit isn't limited to the ball handler coming around the screen. When a switch is necessary, he's immediately getting into that passing lane. I love how he hops on his toes constantly on defense with the kind of energy storage reserved for a cat ready to pounce. And he knows he can dig into the lane because a pass to his man would take quite a while to get there. Plenty of time to recover, and the risk of reaching in is minimal, with the reward being quite worth it. The most important thing I stress when teaching defense is to move in the direction of the ball, and you can see it demonstrated here. As the ball is passed from the wing to the top, Caruso moves in that direction, then when it's pitched back to the right, watch him move that way, more bouncing on his toes before not helping one pass away, showing a hand but sticking with his man, and then getting rewarded by Levine's excellent hands that knock this away. When you pair him with Lonzo Ball, you can create a ton of havoc. Their second and third most played lineups feature these two together, and the defensive rating of each of these lineups would be first in the NBA by a long shot. Of course, Draymond Green is leading the best overall defense, and they're way ahead of the pack, which means he should get all the hype around first team all defense and the Defensive Player of the Year award. But when you have an unheralded guy originally from the G League having such a profound impact on the NBA, I feel it's my duty to point it out and help him get into the discussion for being one of the best defensive players of the year. He's a vital cog in a Bulls machine that frankly hasn't surprised me with their competitiveness, and with Caruso leading the way, they can surprise a lot of people in the playoffs. So, don't sleep on the GOAT since he's making these plays over and over again every single night.